Okay, so get this. The movie kicks off way back in 1973, and there's this girl, Peg, who's in the middle of her own wedding, but right outside, there's this super creepy group of people wearing these weird jute sack masks, and they've got a goat with them. A goat. The whole crew is just marching off somewhere. So back at the wedding, Peg starts feeling sick. She runs outside to puke, and she sees the goat from that creepy group, but none of the masked people. A little later, her new husband comes looking for her, and she's just gone. He's totally freaking out, and all he finds is this little ring on the ground. Then, bam, we jump to the present day, and it's super grim. There's this woman who just hangs herself, and nobody even notices. Her body's just hanging there for days, starting to rot until the rope snaps and she falls. The neighbors only figure it out because of the smell. So messed up. Then some guys come and just haul the body away. So it turns out the woman has a daughter named Shu. She gets the news about her mom and is obviously totally devastated. She goes to crash with her friend Mila. But as soon as she gets to Mila's apartment, she sees all this religious stuff like pictures of Jesus and crosses, and she just starts panicking. Super weird reaction. Shu is not doing well, like, at all. Mila's trying to take care of her, but Shu just has to get out for a smoke. While she's out, she gets a text. It's from her nursing company, because she's a caretaker. And they're like, hey, you've got a new gig. She has to go look after this old lady who has dementia and a bunch of other problems. So the next day, Shu heads out. At the bus stop, the driver has no idea where this place is. He asks this old guy on the bus, and the old dude is like, whoa, you do not want to go there. He totally tries to warn her off. But she's like, nope, gotta go. So he finally tells her how to get there. When she gets near the house, there's this kid with a little goat just staring at her super creepily. Another goat. Shu is definitely getting weird vibes. Anyway, she knocks and this old lady answers. But the second she opens the door, she just pees on the floor. Then she gets super embarrassed and just runs and hides. Shu has to break a window just to get inside. While she's looking for the old lady, she spots this weird red door with a horseshoe on it. And you know how horseshoes are supposed to keep bad vibes out? That's totally running through her head. Then she feels someone zip right past her. It's the old lady, and in a hurry, she spills a bunch of beans everywhere. Shu just starts cleaning them up, no biggie. The old lady's like, are you here to clean up my messes? And she's like, yep, I'm your new caretaker. And then, get this, the old lady says her name is Peg, the same girl who disappeared from her wedding in 1973. How did she end up here? Total mystery. So Peg is super weird about being touched. When Shu tries to help her bathe, she's like, nope, I'll do it myself. But later, when Peg is changing, Shu sees this crazy root-looking pattern tattooed or something right on her waist. So strange. Later, Shu tries to call her friend Mila, but no answer. Then the phone rings, and it's the nursing home. But while she's on the phone, Peg just pops up right behind her and asks the super creepy question. She's like, are you sure that was the nursing home? Shu's just totally freaked out and nods. Then, in Peg's room, she sees this old picture of Peg's family, including her husband from the wedding. Shu asks what happened to him, and Peg just says, super casually, that he killed himself. Yikes! So they talk for a bit, and then Shu tries calling her friend Mila.
Okay, so Shu finally gets a signal and manages to talk to Mila for 2 minutes. She's basically like, I'll be back soon, I promise. While she's on the phone, she's standing by this super weird big tree. It's got a ton of lit candles all around it and clothes hanging all over its branches. It's one of those creepy trees that's supposed to absorb all the negative energy and sickness from people. So while she's standing there, she totally feels like her mom is right behind her. But when she spins around, nothing. Nobody's there. Anyway, she goes back inside and makes a beeline for that red door again, but it's still locked. So she decides to take a shower. And get this, while she's in there, she starts hearing these soft, creepy whispers right in her ear. But there's no one there. Then she hears it again and realizes it's coming from Pig's room. But when she checks, Pig is fast asleep. Then, out of nowhere, Pig starts having this crazy panic attack in her sleep. Shu gives her some medicine, and as she's calming down, Pig starts talking, totally clearly, but still asleep. She's saying, they love music. The music attracts them. Shu's like, who are they? And Pig says, the people who live under this house. Shu just blows it off, thinking it's just part of Pig's dementia, just her imagination running wild. The next day, Shu goes to get groceries, and the locals are total jerks about Pig, making fun of her. On her way back, this girl tells her that Pig was actually in a mental asylum for years. So, that night, Shu decides she's had enough of the mystery. She goes back to the red room, and this time, the door just opens. She goes inside, and you are not gonna believe this. She sees all these weird masked people, and in a bathtub is her dead mom. Shu rushes over and grabs her mom's hand, and her mom's eyes just pop open. Shu starts screaming her head off, and then she sees her friend Mila just laughing at her. And then she wakes up. Total nightmare fuel. It was all just a dream. So she goes to check on Pig, who's sleeping like a baby. But get this, the second Shu walks in, Pig starts talking again. For real this time. She's like, if you're not careful, they're going to take you, just like they took me. And then she spills the beans about her wedding day. It turns out that cult with the goat masks actually kidnapped her. When her husband found out, he made some kind of deal with them, and that's when they put those creepy root marks on her back. She was shocked. She's like, I thought your husband did that to you. But Pig says no, he was actually a really kind guy. Then Pig asks Shu if she knows about being punished, and Shu shows her these burn marks on her hand. She's like, my mom used to do this to me if I didn't pray right. She tells Pig that her mom ended up hanging herself. Pig feels so bad for her, she asks Shu to just sleep in her room with her. So the next day, Shu is on a mission. She finds the key to the basement and opens that red door. Downstairs, it's mostly just a storeroom, but she finds Pig's old wedding album, and tucked inside are all these newspaper clippings. The articles say Pig disappeared on her wedding day, and right after she came back, her husband died. People thought she killed him, and that's why she ended up in the mental asylum. While she's reading this, the lights start flickering, and the door slams shut. She feels her mom's ghost right behind her and starts screaming, trying to get the door open. Finally, it swings open and she scrambles out. And to make things even weirder, the next day, that little kid with the goat shows up at the door asking if he's seen his goat. Then, a package arrives. It's a bunch of her mom's stuff that Mila sent over. Shu totally panics. She sees the exact same clothes her mom was wearing in her nightmare. She gets so freaked out, she just shoves them all in the furnace and burns them. Then she gets on the phone with Mila, and they have this huge, screaming fight about it.
So after all that crazy stuff, she was totally convinced she's losing it, just like Peg. So she sneaks off to the store and uses Peg's prescription to score some meds for herself, just trying to keep her head on straight. She gets back, and there's this woman from the nursing center there for an inspection. Peg is trying to shoo her away, totally convinced this lady is bad news. But she was like, no, it's fine, and goes to get a key. And while she's gone, get this, the inspection lady starts sniffing the door like a weirdo. By the time Shu gets back and opens the door, poof, the lady is just gone, vanished. Another super weird, super creepy thing to add to the list. Shu is officially done with all this mystery. She marches right down to that storeroom and grabs that creepy photo album. And she finds something that blows her mind. Tucked in with all the old newspaper clippings about Peg is a clipping about her own mom's death. Now she's like, okay, what is the connection between Peg and my mom? She's thinking about this when the red basement door starts opening and closing on its own. She's trying to shut it, but it just won't stay closed. Peg comes up behind her and is like, I know you went down there. You need to leave tomorrow and never come back. And honestly, she was ready to bolt. But when she tries to leave, she finds out there are no buses running. So she's stuck. She has to go back to Peg's house. And when she gets there, Peg is looking through that box of stuff Mila sent, the one with all of Shu's mom's things. And she sees the pictures and just freezes. And then, bam, the biggest twist ever. Peg looks at Shu and is basically like, I know your mom because she was my daughter. Wait, what? That means Peg is Shu's grandmother. Total shocker. On her way back, Shu had even seen that little kid's goat again, just wandering in the woods. So weird. So Peg explains the whole insane story. Her husband made a deal with that cult to save her life, promising them their first child. But when their daughter, Shu's mom, was born, Peg couldn't do it. She sent her daughter far away to try and break the deal. But it didn't work. The cult's evil energy followed her mom her whole life and eventually drove her to suicide. Shu finally believes her. She asks what the cult is, and Peg's like, they're a demonic cult. They worship the devil. And right then, there's a knock at the door. It's that creepy inspection lady again. She's whispering through the door, I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna cut you. So yep, she's definitely in the cult. Shu runs back inside, and Peg is standing at the basement door singing. She's like, I'm calling them. And the door slams shut. A little while later, the door opens, and Peg stumbles out all beaten up. She tells Shu, they want you. But I offered myself instead, and they said no, they want my heir. Shu is terrified and runs outside for help, but the whole town is empty. Everyone's locked inside for some creepy festival. And then she sees him. This dude in a weird mask, playing a drum with these two other guys in red sacks behind him. And then the whole creepy crew from the start of the movie shows up with their jute masks. The whole cult is there. She runs back inside and they start banging on the door. She was losing it. She sees a picture of Jesus and a cross, and it triggers all her trauma about her mom. She sees her mom's ghost, and she's about to kill herself with a knife. But before she can, Peg grabs a knife and stabs herself instead. She sacrifices herself to save Shu. She was devastated. The banging stops, but then she hears her friend Mila's voice outside. She's smart, though. She thinks it's a trick from the cult, so she doesn't open the door. Hours later, when it's all quiet, she finally opens it and finds Mila's little ring on the steps. That means they got her. The cult took her friend. So now Shu is done being scared. She's going in to get her friend back. She finds a wedding dress in the house, puts it on, and marches down to the red door. And the basement isn't the basement anymore. It's this whole other creepy world. They put a crown on her head, and then this huge goat horn demon appears in front of her. Blood just starts pouring from her eyes. And then, the final, most messed up twist of all. The camera cuts back outside the red door, and Mila is just sitting there, crying her eyes out, begging them to spare Shu's life. She was never kidnapped. The whole thing, the ring, the voice, it was all a trick to lure Shu in and make her walk right into their trap. And that's it. That's how it ends. So messed up.